It's time for dinner.
Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong.
From the creative mind of Scott Bertelson, after 4 decades of teaching our impressionable youth,
The dinner bell.
you are invited to enjoy conversational morsels for the mind at Mr. B's dinner party.
Yeah, dinner.
Do you hear the dinner bell? Well, you should, because it's time. Yes, it is for Mr. B's dinner party, and I'm ringing the dinner bell.
Mr. B's got a table so wide. Pull up a chair, let your worries slide. School days, tales, and a movie or two. He's serving up wisdom with a side of stew. Belly up to the table, my friend. The feast of thought will never end. From travels far to a spiritual climb. Morsels of musing served in rhyme.
Ring, 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 ring. Have I irritated you enough? I don't know about you, but I'm sure hungry for some intellectual, delicate morsels of information, or at least morsels of information. I guess you can decide how intellectual they are. Anyway, it's me again in the saddle, starting my 3rd season. The 3rd season, and I'm still kicking. I'm not going to tell you what I'm kicking, but I'm still kicking. And I feel great, and I very much enjoy doing this. And you are invited to sit down for the scrumptious meal at Mr. B's dinner party.
Let's have a seat round the proverbial table
Would you like to say grace?
with a nod to our higher power and Mr. B's spiritual journey.
I'm happy to tell you that I am coming up on 7 years of abstinence. That is, staying away from my obsessive foods. And the other day somebody said, I was at a social event and they had ice cream and they said, "Oh, you must try that ice cream." And I said, "I just choose not to." Now, my disease wanted it. My disease wanted a big bowl. Big bowl. But my higher power convinced me, since I don't have any willpower when it comes to food, that I didn't need that. And I needed to not partake of that. And I felt so much better not doing that. So I'm going to share some readings today, as I've been doing for the past few times that we've been on, and see if we can find something that speaks to us about being on this spiritual journey. And it states, "In my search for a cure for my illness, I encountered many fine doctors and others who were sincerely interested in helping me. And they did help. I lost weight, but when I regained the weight, I could only see my former helpers as superior beings with no discernible human failings to compare to mine. In a way, my would-be helpers were, by their own admission, overeaters. In unmistakable terms, they described the compulsion, the fat, the shame, the despair, and the spiritual recovery. My own recovery began that day. Today, I know that I must give to another compulsive overeater in the same way that others gave to me, by first revealing my own failings. You have to be completely honest. You have to speak the truth about how you cannot use willpower to stop yourself from eating your obsessive foods. I am an addict. I will always be a food addict. I can't get rid of it, put it in a box, and put it on the shelf. That disease will be with me for the rest of my life. And so willpower comes in by me working the steps and by me staying clean every day. But my higher power is the one who helps to control what could be disastrous eating. Let's look at another one, my friends. If I set my sights short with the thought that weight loss is enough, which it is not, in this program we do not put the emphasis on weight. No. Just as an aside, I was listening to a podcast of a friend who said that she has plateaued and she's happy with, this was some time ago, she was happy with where she was with her weight, but then decided to change up her eating regimen and has, because of that, given away more weight. But that's something she really wanted to do. And so she had to go to different means of getting that done, eating different foods, maybe taking supplements, whatever it would be. But trying to be happy. You got to be happy. I may never, as this goes on to say, live life to its fullest, enjoying its pleasures and gifts. I was not meant to live in spiritual poverty. God's gifts are mine for the taking, to be kept only by sharing them with others. If today it seems impossible to be free of my mostly deeply rooted faults, I accept that reality only for today. Tomorrow takes care of itself, and there is every reason to believe all things are possible. Have I not received gifts I once thought were impossible? Let me answer that question. Yes. I never thought it would be possible to abstain from my alcoholic foods for this amount of time. And that has happened because of taking it one day at a time. I can't do anything about what happened yesterday, and I can't do anything about what happens tomorrow. But right now, I am clean. So this goes on to say, if abstinence with peace of mind and physical well-being is possible, can anything be impossible? I don't think so. You pray, and your higher power is going to give you what your higher power thinks you need, what's best for you. I've found that always to be true. And so if you simply let go and hand it over, then things are going to definitely improve for you. You've got to believe in the miracle. Here's another reading about defects. Anger, resentment, jealousy, envy, as Bill W. states in the Big Book, are luxuries of normal men. For me, a compulsive overeater, they are poison. I totally agree with that statement. They are poison because they are triggers for me to want to indulge in my eating of alcoholic foods. With defects unattended, the insanity of compulsive overeating returns, and that is death, spiritually and emotionally, if not physically. It is death. When I relapsed, it was death. I was very spiritually and emotionally and physically sad. But that did change. Have I been careless with my program? Do I get into ego-driven arguments? Do I sulk in silent scorn? Am I quick to criticize with a biting tongue? These are very dangerous traps. They can destroy my ability to think or act with purpose. I know that change is possible, that I do not have to live with these crippling defects, and we don't. We don't have to. We don't. They can be taken away from us. I have steps to follow and they lead to freedom. The freedom to eat healthy, the freedom to accept other people, the freedom to love yourself. What greater gift can you give to yourself than loving yourself? There's nothing like it. And let's look at one more. To love the whole person is not the same as thinking, quote, so-and-so is fine, but, unquote. How many times do we always have to add a but? Oh, I really like that, what you did, but... Well, that just ruins everything you said at the beginning when you add the but. If the person doesn't ask for your opinion, then don't give it. I may sometimes wish friends could be free of certain shortcomings for their own sake, but it is those very defects mixed in with their very fine qualities that makes up the total personality of those who are dear to me. We all have shortcomings, my dear friends. And if we accept our own shortcomings, we can accept those in other people because we are all in this together. Do I really accept people's defects, or do I secretly demand perfection, going from person to person in a futile search for the ideal friend? There is no ideal friend. I have so many people in my life that I visit and commune with and spend time with. And honestly, yes, there can be traits of some of these people that I find irritating. Do I share that? No. Do I stop that from seeing these people? No. Because I'm sure I have traits too that they have to overlook at times. But they still remain friends with me. I don't have a right to judge. They are who they are as a person. This is the question I must consider carefully, for the answer shows not merely how I feel about others, but how far I have progressed towards self-acceptance. Wow, self-acceptance. Every day, loving yourself, waking up, turning your life over to your higher power, enjoying your life, not putting unrealistic expectations on yourself. What can I get done today? How can my higher power lead me today? I need to recognize that I still have a tendency to expect perfection in myself and others. It's a good beginning in letting such expectations go. Every morning, let go of those expectations of other people. Concentrate on yourself. So, loved ones, we all have traits that we're not happy with and that other people may not enjoy. But for an overeater, a food addict, it is really, really dangerous because it can catapult you into a realm you don't want to go. And by alleviating certain foods, for me it's primarily sugar and white flour, from my diet, it has physically, emotionally, spiritually changed me as a person. And I don't want to go back. No amount of sugar or flour could bring me the gratitude and happiness that I have now. I wish that for all of you.
Sit still. I said, I can't. Something's tickling me. She thought I was crazy. She said, well, open your coat. I unbuttoned my coat and opened it up. There was a mouse.
Stories. Everybody has them. The stories of our parents, grandparents, and our friends remind us who they are.
That's kind of what I think it is, too, is memories. Growing up, my dad was an English teacher.
How they got here and what they've learned on the way. What if you could collect as many of your loved ones' stories in a high-quality audio format to keep forever? What if you could share the sound of your loved one's voice, their laughter, and their thoughtful manner with your children? Or when you are simply driving to work?
He spent literally 3 months in North Dakota freezing buckets of ice water to make this awesome ice fort that we never spent time in, but it was amazing for the moment it was done.
Well, you can with a Sunny Side of Life biography. Produced here at Sunnyside Farm Studios. I'll sit down with your loved one for 1, 2, or several sessions to record their stories.
I think my students are going to have good memories of me.
You'll receive the full raw recording, an edited selection arranged in audio chapters for easy reference, and produced segments you can use for family gatherings, special moments, or any time you just want to hear your loved one's voice.
And those are probably my most cherished things.
Share it with your family and make it a keepsake, because that's what stories are. Keepsakes of the time we had together.
Never forget that. I was petrified of mice after that forever.
Email your query for more information to Troy at sunnysidefarmstudios.com. The email is also in this show's notes. Let me record your loved one's story so you can share the sunny side of their life in their own words for years to come.
I actually do kind of remember that now.
Part 2 of the spiritual journey is looking at some statements that are sent to me daily from a friend in this club, this thing called life. Here's one. Be someone's light when they are hopeless. That's what I try to do for my sponsees. I try to be that light. If I have a sponsee who feels that they can't get ahead financially, or if they can't try to be effective in staying away from their alcoholic foods, then I have to try to be that light. I can't do it for them, but I can help them be successful. Here's one about a butterfly. The butterfly does not look back at the caterpillar in shame, just as you should not look back at your past in shame. Your past was part of your own transformation. Wow. Wow. The past has helped you to become what you are now today. I wouldn't be where I am today if I hadn't had my past work out the way that it did. Now, I was very bitter many times about many things about my upbringing, but I've let go of that because that was all preparation for where I am today, for me to have found cleanliness in my life in so many ways. So remember, your past was part of your own transformation. My friend also likes to send me quotes once a week, so I'm going to share some of those. Here's one by Jonathan Lockwood Hugh, if I'm saying that correctly. Always hold peace towards all in your own heart. If you are healthy, support those who are sick. If you have a job, support those who have lost theirs. If you are strong, support those who are feeble of body and mind. That's called service, being of help to other people. The more you give, the more you get back. Here's one from the Dalai Lama. Our prime purpose in this life is to help others. I totally agree with that. Here's another one from the Dalai Lama. We can never obtain peace in the outer world until we make peace with ourselves. Stop that raging storm within your soul. I should do this. I should be like this. Putting expectations on yourself that are unrealistic. Telling yourself that you're not good enough. Get rid of that. Flush it. And here's one from Matthew chapter 25. For I was a hungered, and yet you gave me meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. Naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came unto me. Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as you have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, you have done it unto me. Give of yourself to other people. Crucially important. Here's a statement from Jonathan Lockwood. Much in life can be seen as ugly or beautiful. It's our choice. Why would we choose to say any part of life or to see any part of life as ugly? Wow. That man said a mouthful. Repeat. Why would we choose to see any part of life as ugly? We don't want to have our monkey brains. That's what I call it, when my brain goes around and around and around, and I feel like I'm on a hamster wheel. I guess I'm mixing hamsters and monkeys together. Anyway, but I need to look for the good. Every day, I need to look for the good. Here's one by James Allen. Circumstance does not make the man. It reveals him to himself. Again, circumstances do not make the man. It reveals him to himself. Coming to grips with who you are as a person. Accepting yourself. Loving yourself. I have two more. I don't know who the author of this is. There are two things we get at the start of every new day. A chance and a choice. Wow. Remember that. Choice. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. You've got a chance to do something that day that you haven't done before, and you may not do tomorrow, but you've got the next 24 hours to get that done. Wow. Take that, and as Chris Meyer, my friend, used to say, smear that on your heart. And the last one is a quote by Stacy Stengel. The trick is growing up without growing old. I like to think that's what I try to practice every day. I'm 66. In a few months I'll be 67. What's your definition of old? What are the characteristics of old? I know many people in their 60s and they still haven't grown up. They're youthful, they're vibrant, they're energetic. They haven't resigned themselves to live a certain way because society says this is what you should do when you reach this age or this age or this age. I'm not going to listen to those demands. I'm going to live my life as fully and as effectively until my higher power decides to take me home. And I would wish that for you too. So I hope some of these statements are some that make a difference in your life and can help you with your food program. Because every day we have chance and we have choice. Believe it.
For the next course, come one, come all. Nothing spoiled here. From comfort classics to what's hot now. Film reviews from Mr. B's Rewatchables.
Now, friends, if my calculations are correct, I have shared my personal list of my top songs from the 70s and my top films from the 70s. But in retrospect, I think I forgot to mention one film from the 70s, and that would be The Godfather. The Godfather, the original Godfather, Godfather 1, is a masterpiece, as is Godfather 2. So I was amiss that I did not share those when I was talking about the greatest films of the 70s. So maybe, hopefully, you've taken the time to watch some of these. Let's talk about, in no particular order or reason, some of my top choices for films of the 80s. The first one would be The Princess Bride. Came out in 86. One of the funniest movies and most quoted of all time. It's really a fairy tale story. A grandfather's reading to his sick grandson. And then these people try to rescue his true love, Princess Buttercup, from kidnappers. And that's just a little explanation. Very, very, very funny movie. Highly recommend you see it. Another film I really like from the 80s would be The Witches of Eastwick, which has Jack Nicholson, Cher, Susan Sarandon, and Michelle Pfeiffer. It tells the story of 3 Rhode Island women who find themselves literally dating the devil. That's Jack Nicholson. Yeah, tongue-in-cheek. There you go. Despite the darkness, the movie's most memorable for its humor and extravagance. And what they do to Jack Nicholson as the devil is absolutely hilarious. I have to say, and not leave out, Purple Rain. Purple Rain is going to be on the stage, I believe, this fall in Minneapolis, a world premiere of that. They've transformed it into a stage show. This 84 musical drama is as famous for the soundtrack as it is for the movie. The movie stars Prince, who does, I think, a decent job of acting. It's got great songs like Let's Go Crazy, When Doves Cry. As you know, it's the story of a struggling Minneapolis musician battling with problems with his family and his band, and how he comes to realize that it's not all just about him. And one of the greatest soundtracks of all time, that is Purple Rain. The next one would be 16 Candles, which I've seen numerous times. This was a story about Samantha, as portrayed by Molly Ringwald, who is experiencing her 16th birthday, but nobody remembers. And then she realizes that she has a crush on a boy who has no idea that she exists, or does he? And then she's pursued by the dorkiest boy in her class. And it becomes this great film of embarrassing and dreadful moments that can happen when you have a really terrible day in high school. And let's face it, high school days are not necessarily your best days of your life. There's many, many, many good qualities of that, but let's face it, doesn't always work that way. The next movie would be The Color Purple, which was transformed into a stage musical. Color Purple was a wonderful book. It was a Pulitzer Prize winning book. It's the story of Celie, a poor black woman who in the film is portrayed by Whoopi Goldberg, who struggles to find her voice amidst years of abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse. And it's so wonderful and heart-wrenching. Really suggests that you see that movie. Another one is Baby Boom. Has one of my favorite actresses, and she still performs today, and that is Diane Keaton. And Diane Keaton plays J.C., a career woman, sophisticated New York woman, whose life is thrown into complete chaos when she becomes the guardian of a distant relative's baby, and how she completely reroutes her life and attempts to create a new normal and answers the question, what's more important, family or work? Baby Boom. Another one, seen it many times, deemed by many to be the greatest chick flick of all time, Steel Magnolias, which was originally a stage play. Stars Dolly Parton, Julia Roberts, Sally Field, Shirley MacLaine, and Daryl Hannah. About small-town gals in the South trying to exist with the daily ups and downs of life, love, grief, and time. Definitely a tearjerker. Definitely emotional, and I probably could say that men would enjoy it just as much as women. Oh, let's do about 5 more. And maybe I can do some more next week. Or whenever I'm back. Oh, that's right. I'm on every 2 weeks. All right. How about Dead Poets Society? Oh, yes. Starring role for Robin Williams, one of the greatest, I think, actors. Takes place in a prep school in the 1950s. Tells the story of a very unorthodox teacher, played by Robin Williams, whose teaching style clashes with the traditions of the educational institution where he works. And his methods ruffle many feathers, but reshapes the lives of his students forever. It is so wonderful of a film, of the impact that a teacher can have on students. Dead Poets Society. Okay, I can't miss this one. When Harry Met Sally. Oh, yes. This is directed by Rob Reiner, who used to be the meathead on All in the Family, who became a great director in the 80s. And the big question is stated or asked, can men and women just be friends? Or not? This has Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal, who recently, if you've seen the commercial, reprised a certain scene from a restaurant. I think they're selling mayonnaise now, 35 years later. They're searching for love in New York City. Will these two get together? You've got to see the film. Another great film is called Working Girl. And it stars Melanie Griffith, who was a great actress, very popular in the 80s, who works as a secretary, who really wants to move up the corporate ladder. So when the opportunity arises, she jumps at it, not always aware of the consequences she might face. It stars Harrison Ford, Sigourney Weaver, and Melanie, as I said, Griffith, directed by the great Mike Nichols, and that is Working Girl. Another great film about the impact of educators is Lean on Me, which is based on a true story about a tough-as-nails teacher who becomes a principal in a New Jersey high school where students are doing horribly. He's very unconventional, and that name of the person is Morgan Freeman. And what he shows as love for his students through his way of dealing with them is extraordinary. Lean on Me. And two more for today. The big coming out film for Tom Cruise, Risky Business. We know him now as the star of the great Mission Impossible franchise, but he made many, many other films. This is one of his first. He plays a rebellious teenager who gets in a lot of trouble when his parents go out of town for the weekend. He brings in a prostitute. He starts a brothel. There's a lot that I'm leaving out here. But it's really about a young man trying to decide what he wants to do with his life. Is he going to do what society says he should do, or should he follow his own voice? Risky Business. And the last one, and I know I've talked about it before, probably what I consider the greatest film of the 80s, that would be The Breakfast Club. That is, you have 5 very different people in one room on a Saturday for detention. And what results is a very honest and real depiction of teenage pressures, adversities, stereotypes. And there's way, way more to a teenager than being called a jock, a beauty, a brain, a rebel, or a recluse. Way, way more. The Breakfast Club. So I'm going to make a decision now. Part 1 of what I consider to be the top films in the 1980s, a time that I went to many, many movies, much more than I do now, and movies as like films from the 70s, I find myself coming back to quite often because of their story, because of their imagination, because of the acting, because of the brilliant direction of these films. A wonderful time period. Sometimes on cable stations they'll have an 80s night and they'll focus on some of the top films from the 80s. You could go to a streaming service and probably find top 80 films that you could look at and try to watch. They're out there. They're alive. And I hope you'll enjoy them. Okay. I was an educator for 39 years, been subbing for 5 years. And I realize, I'm aware, that students many times would rather be anywhere but school. What if you decided that you were going to take a day off from school and live life to the fullest? That's what Ferris does in the 80s classic Ferris Bueller's Day Off, directed by John Hughes, who also did 16 Candles and The Breakfast Club. and I believe Pretty in Pink. It stars Matthew Broderick, Mia Sara, and Alan Ruck, with smaller roles by Jennifer Grey, Charlie Sheen, and Jeffrey Jones. For those of you who are not aware of this classic 80s film, as I go into a little more detail about it than I have with just talking about some of the top films of the 80s, Ferris is a very charismatic high school slacker who will do whatever he can to avoid being in school. And the means that he goes to in this film to convince his parents that he's sick and let the school know that he's sick, even though he's missed a lot of school days, is amazing. But he decides this one morning that he's going to skip school and he's going to take his best friend Cameron and his girlfriend Sloane. And they're going to spend a wonderful day in Chicago. And so this is the film where you have the great scene of the teacher calling out Bueller, Bueller, anybody, Bueller, Bueller. And there's a rumor going around. That rumor is that Ferris, which he probably started himself, is dying. And so they all say, pray for Bueller. He's friends with everybody in school. He's very well known, very well liked. But he doesn't want to abide by the rules. And so he lies to his parents. He lies to the school. And his sister, played by Jennifer Grey, prior to Dirty Dancing, is so angry with him that he gets by with this. And she's on to him, but nobody will believe her at all. So anyway, this one day, you've got Cameron and Sloane. None of them go to school. They spend the day going to the, at that time called the Sears Tower, Wrigley Field, the Art Institute of Chicago. And you really get a great portrait of what Chicago is like. This became one of the highest grossing teen films of 1986. Most of the critics liked it, who praised Broderick, who's amazing. Matthew Broderick as Ferris, absolutely unparalleled. And the film has been selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry. So Bueller, this is 2 months prior to his graduation. And what is also fun about this film is that the character of Bueller, breaks the fourth wall and talks directly to the audience. For example, at the end of the film, when he makes it home in time without getting caught, which, what are the chances of that? But it's a movie, okay? Just work with me. He is going in to take a shower, and he peeks out of the bathroom and he says, "Are you still here?" He's talking to the audience, us. "Are you still here? Go home. The film is over." And he speaks to the camera many times throughout the film. He is suffering from terrible senioritis. His parents believe he's sick. His sister doesn't. This is the 9th time this semester that he's been absent from school. And the principal, as played hilariously by Jeffrey Jones, plays Edward Rooney. And his secretary, Grace, are going to go to any means they can to expose his truancy. And the principal is attacked by dogs. It just doesn't paint a very good portrait of administration. But anyway, Ferris, though, changes his attendance records by hacking into the school's computer system because he is very, very bright. So anyway, they go into the city and they take Cameron's father's Ferrari, which is not supposed to be touched with or dealt with or looked at even. And something awful happens to that. And consequently, Ferris makes up with his sister. Rooney faces the principal, ultimate embarrassment. Cameron changes as a person, and instead of being a meek, mild, everybody take advantage of him, he becomes a person who's going to stand up and be recognized. So, I would really tell you and encourage you to see Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And for example, when they go to Wrigley Field, there are people on the teleprompters. Is that what they call them? Teletron. There we go. Thank you, Scott. With big signs saying, "Save Ferris. Save Ferris." Is it ridiculous? Oh, of course. Is it over the top? Oh, of course. But if you're looking for something light-hearted and the story of a young boy who gets away with almost murder, figuratively, this is the film to see. And everybody has that fantasy, even I did when I was in school and during the Stone Age, of escaping for a day and doing what I wanted to do. Well, that's what Ferris does. And there's a great scene where they're having an Irish parade, and he gets on a float, and he sings the Beatles song, "Shake It Up, Baby," twist and shout. Oh my gosh. He's got the most expressive face, Matthew Broderick, and he's still an actor today. So think about seeing this movie and trying to have the belief that if you really want something, you can get it. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Bueller? Is anybody there? Bueller? Well, you didn't think you were going to get by that easily, did you? Oh, no. I have also a rewatchable TV show that I really suggest you watch. That would be the show Mom, which is a sitcom comedy drama. And Mom, the TV sitcom, was created by Chuck Lorre, who also did 2.5 Men and many other TV series. It was on for 8 seasons from 2013 to 2021. You might be asking, what's the show Mom? What is it about? And you can still find it on cable stations, streaming services. It follows a dysfunctional mother-daughter duo, Bonnie and Christy, who have been separated for years. Both have addictions. Alcoholic addictions, gambling addictions. And together, they're trying to pull their lives together by staying sober. It also has Anna Faris in it, Allison Janney, Jamie Presley, and William Fichtner. It was done in front of a live audience. And it is dealt with in a humorous way: alcoholism, drug addiction, teen pregnancy, addictive gambling, homelessness, relapse, cancer, death, domestic violence, overdose, rape, obesity, strokes, ADHD, and miscarriages. Yes, all of these in a comedy. That is what made this show so noteworthy to watch. And the relationship between the mother and the daughter, between Bonnie and Christy, evolves throughout the seasons. And Bonnie goes through a number of men that she thought she would end up with, but it didn't work that way. And that's also the case for Christy. And Christy has 2 children that she's trying to raise from 2 different fathers. And the one daughter becomes pregnant and what that's like. And it has so much realism in it. So Christy, as portrayed by Anna Ferris, wants to start her life over and becomes a waitress and starts attending Alcoholics Anonymous. And Violet is the daughter of Christy, and she becomes pregnant. And her young son is a product of her second marriage, a deadbeat dad named Baxter, who likes to smoke pot all the time. Well, anyway, Christy does return to school and pursues her dream of becoming a lawyer. Bonnie, after meeting various men, marries a retired stuntman. But they always come back to the support system from AA and all the great friends that they have there. Marjorie, Jill, Wendy, and Tammy. They all help each other stay sober, no matter how difficult the conflicts could be. And it's all done through humor. In the last season, Christy, who no longer wanted to be on the show, Anna Ferris, moved to Washington, D.C., and then it focused on Bonnie and her AA friends. So I would say to you that if you want an experience in realism when it comes to addictions, which I'm very familiar with, you might want to check out Mom. It's only a few moments from your life. Every episode is no more than 30 minutes. And every episode is dealing with some, what I would consider, hot topic in a very funny way. The writing on this show was brilliant. And that's part of the reason why it lasted that many seasons. So, if you're looking for something that's not on prime time, because prime time bores you, check out Mom. Oh, I think you'll be glad you did. Well, I think that'll do it. I hope that I have brought some viewing pleasure ideas into your life. And I wish you the best as we part now. But I'll be back because this is the start of my 3rd season and I still got a lot of life in me. So, if you like the podcast, tell your friends. Tell them to check out Mr. B's Dinner Party. You'll never leave the table hungry. Bye-bye for now.
Television dramas and comedic reviews, pet peeves buzzing like honeydew blues, poetry sprinkled like salt on a dish, every word served with a twist and a swish. Belly up to the table, my friend. The feast of thought will never end, from travels far to a spiritual climb. Morsels of musing served in rhyme.
Mr. B's Dinner Party is hosted by Scott Bertelson, edited and produced by Troy Thompson, recorded and distributed at Sunnyside Farm Studios, and platformed by Buzzsprout.
Conversations flowing like fine red wine. World journeys mapped with tales divine. He's hosting a dinner for your hungry mind, a banquet of life where you can unwind. Belly up to the table, my friend. The feast of thought will never end. From travels far to a spiritual climb, morsels of musings served in rhyme.
Subscribe so you never miss an episode, and share with your friends. Listen and enjoy every other Wednesday. Conversational morsels for the mind on Mr. B's Dinner Party.